Games, brains, happing life here with another episode of the Flashback series. We're going to the world of Resident Evil again. Another Resident Evil is popping up. This time, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. A survival horror game developed by Capcom and released for the PlayStation in 1999. It was the third installment of the Resident Evil series and takes place around the events of Resident Evil 2. The story follows Jill Valentine on her efforts to escape from the city, Raccoon City, infected with a biological weapon. We all know that. And then choices throughout the game affect the story and the ending. It was originally planned as a spin-off featuring a different protagonist, but because Resident Evil 3 was designed to have more action-oriented gameplay than previous Resident Evil games. It also features a larger number of enemies and introduces the Nemesis creature, which periodically pursues the players. Resident Evil 3 was ported to the Dreamcast, Windows, and GameCube, but a remake known simply now as Resident Evil 3 will be released for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Windows in the next couple of months. Trailer looked awesome.
I've seen it, yeah.
So there you go, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Things we like, things we don't like, favourite moments, scenes, bits of music. Go on and tell me some things you like.
This one's going to be a bit just out there, okay? But I love the fact that they killed Brad.
Brad Vickers?
Yeah, what a dick. The guy's a dick from the first one, okay? Because he abandoned you in the first one, okay? And he finally got
Wait,
killed.
does he? Isn't it Joseph?
No,
Joseph.
He's the one who gets his hand bit up by a dog, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah, you hear him scream. You hear him. Brad's the pilot in the chopper.
Brad's the one that...
Yeah, he's the pilot.
Brad's the one that leaves... Oh.
He's the pilot.
And even though he comes back at the end.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And he gets killed by the Nemesis. And then, even then, he still expects you to save him. He's got some big-ass keys in front of you, and he's like, Jill! And she's like, I ain't fucking saving you.
You know he's going to have a bigger role in the remake, right? They're saying...
Well, I mean, what? I suppose, yeah, because obviously when you see him, he's just all cut up. So I suppose they could obviously try and explain what happened, how he met the Nemesis.
Yeah, because Brad only really comes back to it after the initial bar bit, and he rushes through the gates of Raccoon City Police Station with the Nemesis behind him.
All cut up and stuff like that. So.
Jill! Brad! We've got to...
Alright, it's cool. I like it. I like the fact I like that. That's cool. More generic than that, mine. It's just that more Resident Evil was never a bad thing. Particularly coming off the back of Resident Evil 2, which was so great. Yeah. They were like, oh, Resident Evil 3, it's basically Resident Evil 2 again. You were like, okay, sweet. And the opportunity to play as Jill Valentine, who is one of my favourite Resident Evil characters overall in the series, was great. I'm really happy with that. I also really like the fact that you see events and locations from Resident Evil 2, but from a different perspective. Yeah. And you spend a lot more time in the streets of Raccoon City. That is cool as fuck.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Yeah, because in number 2, you literally were there for not very long.
Not in the streets, yeah.
You ran through it, or then you're in the police station. That's it.
Yeah, you were doing graveyards and streets and alleyways way more in Resident Evil 3, which is cool. What else you got?
I've got the mercenary mode.
Okay, cool.
It was a nice little add-on, you know. I mean, I don't particularly like the characters, but I mean, it's nice. It's not like the hunk mode. I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a nice little add-on, yeah.
I agree. It was. It adds some replay longevity to the game.
Yeah,
damn right. An obvious one that you have to touch upon: the Nemesis.
Oh yeah, of course.
This was very, very cool at the time. The idea of this thing that would actually follow you. Normally, you know, Resident Evil games, you go through a door, you're safe, except for except for the 2 zombies in Resident Evil original that can apparently open doors.
Yes.
2 of them.
Yep.
No others, just those 2. But yeah, they actually have this beast, and this was like a boss character. Alright, admittedly, to tell a lie, we'd already kind of had Mr. X, Weapon X, in Resident Evil 2 B scenarios.
Yep.
Nemesis was different though. He would proper hunt you. And it wasn't like slowly plodding. The rocket launcher, the legging it. Yeah, Nemesis was cool. And I'm very excited to see how he works in this remake.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because obviously the Resident Evil 2 remake, Mr. X, it does the same thing but pops up in both modes, but smashes through walls and shit like that. Yeah, very, very cool.
Yeah, I mean, his speed it was scary, literally.
Yeah.
I mean, you're no longer safe by just quickly go through the door to another room.
Yeah, no, you weren't safe, yeah. Any more?
I've got the puzzles.
Okay.
And there's one particular puzzle. It was like a water puzzle. We had to make certain samples, and it was it was a puzzle where it was basically a guessing game.
Okay.
And it was difficult, and literally, but it took me bloody ages to do it. Admittedly, I'd use a guide in the end, but it was enjoyable because it was actually difficult. You know, it wasn't one where literally it was where you had to get keys and running backwards and forwards.
Yeah, okay.
It was just literally trying to mix
old school puzzle.
Mixing. Is it number one where you got to do the Plant 42? You got to make the virus to kill it.
Oh,
it was
V-Jolt.
Yeah, sort of like mixing.
Yeah. I can see where you like that because I have fond memories of V-Jolt.
Yeah.
That's cool. The choice system. So, kind of like to add some replay value to Resident Evil 3, they had these periodical moments where we'd be given an option, which would affect an ending as well. Not massive variations in the endings, but I like that. I always like the idea of having branching paths, branching storylines.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Right, things we don't like. Let's be honest. This is one of the more forgettable Resident Evil stories. Try and take me through the entire plot of Resident Evil 3, compared to take me through the plot of Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4. But take me through the plot of Resident Evil 3. And beyond, Jill Valentine needs to escape Raccoon City while being chased by the Nemesis. Tell me anything else that happens. Some mercenaries turned up and there's Carlos.
I can't, to be honest. I mean, I can remember a scene that you're on a clock tower and fighting the Nemesis. That's about it, really.
So, I mean, very forgettable story compared to the rest where, if I say you could walk me through step by step the Resident Evil 1 and 2 story, I'm sure.
But then I blame the developers for that. Because again, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it came out like a year. It was a year after number 2, or
99 was 90. I can't remember if 2 was 96 or 98. It was quite soon.
So for me, it came out too soon. I mean, people were still in love with number 2. Obviously, they still are now, but I think maybe it was just a little break in between.
Let's be honest. This isn't Resident Evil 3. This is Resident Evil 2.5.
Yeah.
Because look at Resident Evil 1 and then contrast that to the jump to Resident Evil 2. Then look at the jump between Resident Evil 2 and 4.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this, and in between it, we also have Code Veronica, which was a massive change as well.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm glad you agree with that. The game is actually really fucking short. And it's not got as much replay value as other Resident Evils. Yeah, you do with the branching paths, but a short game and branching paths is not enough. You do Mercenaries mode, but there's very little reason to go back and replay Resident Evil 3.
There is no reason.
Yeah.
There is no reason at all.
Yep. The dodge system. It was a fine idea. Mm-hmm. I admire the idea of adding this new system where you could dodge things at the last minute. Except it's so last minute and so precise, you just won't do it. It's too hard, and you just won't do it. You just won't. I reckon when I remembered the dodge system, I was like, oh yeah, it had a dodge system. Mm-hmm. I was like, why didn't it? Oh yeah. That's why. Yeah. That's why I never used it. Because it just wasn't good.
No.
Yeah. Anything else?
I mean, I've got 2 dislikes, and I really don't like Carlos. I don't like Carlos, and in fact, the entire Biohazard team.
I mean, I don't like most of them because they're most of them are villains, but I don't know we should with Carlos.
I think over of number 1, number 2, and even like 4 and 5 and 6, the characters you had were 10 times better. I mean, you're talking about, obviously, you had Leon, Chris, Barry, you had Wesker.
Yeah.
And this one you got Carlos.
Well, he never came back for another game, did he? He wasn't in the... Yeah, so...
And I'm guessing that to me, that explains why.
I think it's a fair thing. Okay, the pointless re-release of the game on the GameCube. So, if you know all this, Nintendo managed to tie Capcom up in a deal where they were going to make Resident Evil games exclusive to Capcom. And through that, thank God for that deal, because through that we got the Resident Evil remake, original remake, which has become legendary now, and Resident Evil 0. But to kind of commit for their commitments to that contract, they basically just re-released Resident Evil 2, which was a fine re-release, but they also just re-released Resident Evil 3.
Yeah.
And it's just like, just the same game that's already so fucking old, re-released. And because Resident Evil 3 is such a flawed entry in the series, that's why I'm highlighting that one. Resident Evil 2 is the same problem. Mm-hmm. But that's Resident Evil 2. It's a special game.
Exactly. Resident
Evil 3, it was just like, fucking, who cares? Who was buying Resident Evil 3 full priced as well on the GameCube? In like 2002, I think it was. No. Who the fuck? No one was doing that.
One word, money.
Yeah, it was the deal, wasn't it? Yeah. And I am grateful for that deal because of what we got from it.
Of course.
But that port was pointless.
I mean, I've got one last dislike.
Go on.
Which is, it's about Nemesis.
Yep.
The Nemesis with a rocket launcher.
Yeah.
Now, the guy's badass enough. He don't need no fucking rocket launcher. Okay, for me that was stupid.
No.
And bear in mind, I'm basing this off the...
Don't do it. Don't say it. No,
Sorry,
it does not count.
The film.
No,
Okay?
no.
The Nemesis in the film with a rocket launcher is pathetic, okay?
The Nemesis in the movie is a joke.
Oh, yeah, I know. But I just think that because he's badass enough. You know, he can run, he's fast, he's a machine, he takes a hell of a lot of hits, and then you give him a rocket launcher.
Yes.
But he's a monster.
To shoot helicopters down. No, I disagree with him in this one. To me, it's also had it not had a rocket launcher, it would have been it's a little bit too similar to Mr. X and the Tyrant from the original.
Yeah,
This was something that was different. You cannot bring the fucking movie version into this.
No.
I liked the first Resident Evil film and got so excited about the sequel, and I just sat there with my mouth open and then watching Alice fist fight the Nemesis, and then it turned good because it remembered her.
Yeah.
Jesus, that movie. Fuck that movie.
All 7 of them, or 8 of them, I think.
Oh, there's some good ones amongst them.
Well, yeah.
Right, favourite moments, scenes, bits of music. I have 2 things. Do you have any?
I've got one favourite moment, yeah.
Go on, favourite moment. Oh, Brad Vickers dying.
It has to be. It has to be because he's a dick. I mean, if anyone's read the books,
yeah.
The books, he's a dick in the
The
books
non-canon
too.
books,
Yes, he's a dick in the books too.
Yeah, but you can't count those books because those are so non-canon, they don't count, and they're so muddled.
But they're good books though. I love the books.
I've got them behind me. I don't know if I'd say they're good books. They're entertaining reads.
Okay,
entertaining reads.
Yeah.
But good books.
You said non-canon ones.
They're non-canon now.
Okay.
They were originally in SD Perry.
SD Perry, yeah.
Go read up on it. They were good. I've never noticed why she doesn't write anymore.
No.
Considering how many there have been. Well, you should go read up. So I'll explain. SD Perry used to write Resident Evil books, adapted from the novels, and so on. But she also added some original stuff in there to fill in some blanks. So there's a couple of original stories in there that had one that had set out like a water base.
Yeah, Rebecca Chambers one was really good.
The problem is that it fucked up the canon for Capcom's side of the story when later games came out. So her books became non-canon, no longer part of the canon. Just almost fan-made books.
Wow.
And I believe she lost the deal with Capcom.
Oh wow, real.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
No, it's not.
I actually enjoyed the books though.
I just said they're entertaining.
Yeah, well, entertaining, yeah.
But ultimately, it's like.
But I suppose I can see why Capcom would do it.
Well, what she was doing was just adapting, making a story out of the games. But adding their own stuff, it became a bit of a problem, I think.
It would do, yeah.
Yeah, and then eventually when later sequels would come out, her stuff did not fit in with the canon anymore. Yeah. It is what it is. Funny enough, I actually have the first encounter with Nemesis as one of my favourite moments. And I've added the death of Brad Vickers. I don't feel personally aggrieved by him the way you do. But ultimately, the first encounter with Nemesis is pretty fucking cool. It's memorable. It's probably the number 1 cutscene I remember. And last but not least, I've got a music thing. Now, do you remember Dino Crisis, the flashback of Dino Crisis?
Yep.
I mentioned that I felt Capcom were at a time the king of end credits music. That whatever game you were playing of that early Resident Evil and Dino Crisis, they always came up with this incredible end credit music, be it Resident Evil's rocky ass fucking guitar, badass, man, gets the blood pumping. Resident Evil 2's 2 variation, the rockier one and the really emotional, powerful one.
Yep.
Dino Crisis. Did you watch the video and hear the Dino Crisis final track?
Yeah.
Resurrection, is it?
Yep.
Lovely. But in that video, I mentioned what was my favourite. And I mentioned Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. being another good example, a fantastic example. I'd argue it's probably my favourite Capcom end credits. It's piano only, keyboard and stuff like that. Gonna play it at the end of this video, so we'll hear it there. The end credits for Resident Evil 3 music, I absolutely fucking adore. And it's just another, wow, Capcom. Well done.
Yeah.
Whoever your composer for that shit was fantastic.
Yeah, they've always had great music.
Really, really have. But there you go. There's our flashback of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. We will look forward to checking out Resident Evil 3 itself when it comes out in a few months' time. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on GBHBL.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/GBHBL, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?